Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome in. We still got a few more minutes here, but we'll get started just after 3 p.m. People tend to join a bit late, so I will give people time to join, but welcome. As we're getting started here, I have a question for y'all if you could answer in the chat. Does this time work well for webinars for you guys, or would you prefer a later date, a later time, or earlier time in the day? How does 3 p.m.? I mean, a bunch of you guys signed up, so I guess it does work. But would you prefer later in the evening or earlier in the day? Okay. And our meetings, our webinars aren't always on Wednesdays. They don't have to be on Wednesdays. They can be Fridays. They can be Mondays. This is really for you guys, so I'll make whatever works best for the most people work. So if you could just keep telling me your comments in the chat. They do save after the webinar, so I'll take a look at them as well as I'm planning the next one. But if you could tell me if you prefer another time, later in the afternoon. Some people are saying now is good. Some people say after 4:30 is better. And then if you could also comment what day maybe works best for you. If there's a great time and there's a great date, let me know. If a different day but this time works, let me know. If, for example, Fridays at, I don't know, 5 p.m. works best for you. Keep in mind we are central, so whatever times I'm saying are central time. If you are not central time, then also let me know. And then I'll do kind of what I put out a poll as well on the partners page, partners Facebook page. So whatever is kind of the consensus, the majority opinion on both that and here will kind of be the deciding factor for the future webinars. And of course, I'll be polling again as we continue. But welcome in. If you are still joining or if you've just joined, welcome in. We'll get started here shortly. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
Really quickly before you get started, Mateo, I am here. I'm here, but I'm also not here. If you need me to jump in, I will be listening. I can keep an eye on chat for you either way. But hello, everybody. This is Mateo's Jam. I'm letting him run the show. I'm just going to be behind the curtain. So I just want to say thanks so much for everybody to join, especially on a random Wednesday afternoon. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
We'll get started here in a little bit. We're missing a few more people, so I'll give some time. But yeah, Ashley is here throughout the webinar. Feel free to ask questions. This is for you again. This is to help you as much as we can. So I'll be going over the presentation I've prepared. But of course, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. Ashley will help me out towards the end during QA. And we'll just kind of tag team the questions. I have a dedicated time for the questions, so we'll get to all of them. But be sure to, even if I'm talking, be sure to put in any questions that you have about the topics I'm covering, or if another random question pops up, feel free to question. No, so because it is a webinar setup Zoom, you guys are not don't have to be on camera. But let me know if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, say something in the chat, and then we'll go ahead and get started. You can see me. Okay, perfect. Can you see my screen? Okay, you can see my screen too. Great. All right, great. So let's go ahead and get started. We still got a couple more trickling in, but we'll just get started for the sake of time. Let's see. All right. So, hey everyone, my name is Mateo Young. Uh, Welcome to the Marketing Deep Dive. This is for partners only. So some of you guys have are already familiar with our processes for marketing and kind of uh, our tools that we use, but this is really dedicated to show you guys specifically how I create my ads, and I'll get more into that, of course. The first thing I'd like to talk about, though, is some real high level marketing uh, market marketing plan setting. So I've developed this, and you might have seen this if you've come to the training, because you are all partners. If you have come to the training in the past, you may have seen something similar to this. I've obviously adjusted it as time goes on. We adjust our presentations and the trainings as we learn new things. So I've adjusted this as I've again learned new things. So I'm going to briefly go over this again if you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, it won't be so brief that you won't get anything out of it. So this is basically the 5-step marketing development plan that I've developed so you can create your own marketing plan for your Christmas light business. It's very simple. It's just 5 steps. It's setting goals, setting the right goals, researching your market and your competition. And within your market, it's researching your demographic, your target customers. Step number 3 is understanding your competitive advantage, your strengths and your weaknesses. Step number 4 is deciding on what the best marketing channels and tools are based on your market, based on your budget, based on your strengths. And then last but not least is launching your campaigns, evaluating them periodically, and realigning, readjusting, and launching them again. So pretty simple, very high level again, but I'll go through each of these steps and then we'll get into the actual tools and how-tos. I do already see one question, and it's a great question, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it. Yes. So this webinar is being recorded, and it will be sent out to everyone in attendance, and they'll have the PowerPoint along with it. So if you don't want to take notes, you don't have to. If you do want to, of course, you can. But this will be sent out. Great. So let's continue here. So step number 1, setting the right goals. I stress this in every marketing meeting that I host because I think it's one of the most important things you can do as the owner, as a marketer, as a salesperson in your company. You have to know why you're doing the things that you're doing and what you're trying to achieve. If you are just kind of throwing money into a marketing campaign and you don't really know what you're trying to get out of it specifically, then you're ultimately really just wasting money and not really being effective with your capital and not maximizing your profit at the end of the day. So a way to avoid all of those things is to set SMART goals. That is something that's taught in every business school I've gone to, and it's something that's really drilled into students, and I think it's really applicable to real world situations, and that's why I'm bringing it up to you guys. So the acronym SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. And I'll explain each one of those. So specific means, what are you trying to achieve? What do you want to get out of your marketing campaign? Measurable is, can you put a figure to your goal? Can you put a figure to what you want your returns to be? What percentage ROI do you want? Can you put those numbers down on paper and have them be attainable? The third letter. Are they, and then the R is relevant, but I like to switch it to realistic. So is it attainable and is it realistic? If it's your first year, second year installing and you want to make $1 million, in install revenue, that might not be very realistic and it might not be super attainable. Uh, and if you don't have the capital to support those goals, then you might want to scale it back and say, it's my second year. I want to make 200,000, 250,000, 300,000, depending again on your strengths and weaknesses, which we'll get to. And then time bound, the last letter there in the SMART goals acronym is, um, is when do you want to achieve these goals by? Because if you say, I want to achieve, again, $1 million in revenue, period, then you have the rest of your life to do that. But if you say, I want to, in my third season, my 2024 season, I want to achieve 200,000 in revenue through this channel, and this channel with this percent budget out of my total projected revenue for the year, then that's a very specific goal. And that's definitely one that's going to set you up for success because you're going to be able to track uh, your results, your progress, your marketing campaigns, uh, achievements, I guess, throughout the campaign and throughout the season. So that's why I stress creating SMART goals, creating very specific goals that you can actually measure, so you can tell whether or not you're overperforming, underperforming, or you're right on schedule with your goals, with your marketing. Step number 2, after you set your goals, now it's time to do some research to figure out how you can actually achieve those. So most of you guys are already installers, so I'm sure you know a little bit about how to market or how to research your market and research your competitors, and you kind of already know what your target customer is. But I'll kind of refresh this, so because it's very important to keep this in mind in every season. We still do. You have to know who your customers are, who you want your customers to be, I should say, because really everyone can be your customer, but you don't really want everyone to be your customer. For example, many of you know we have a $1,500 job minimum for our Christmas light installs, right? So while some people may not be able to afford that, we know that that's the minimum that we're willing to do a job for because of hourly revenues and our costs and all the stuff that we figured out already that works best for us, that helps us achieve our revenue goals. We know that that's the minimum that we have to charge. So that tells us a lot about who our customers have to be in order for them to be our customers, right? We target primarily higher income individuals, higher income zip codes. And in order to know where that is, we had to do our research into what areas of Dallas those kind of people were in. And then the other thing that we had to research is who else is in that market. What are our competition in that market, and what are our competitors doing in that market that's helping them stay in that business, in that market, and how can we beat them? So in order to know how to beat them, we had to figure out, what are they lacking in, because it's better to go after your competitors' weaknesses than their strengths, in all honesty. Because if they're already the best at something, you might want to be the best at something that they're not good at. So if they don't have the best customer service, then that's where we come in. We have the best customer service. We'll be out there in 24 hours or less if something is not working for our VIP clients. We will get on the phone with them. We'll meet face to face with them. We'll change their design every year if that's what they want, because that's what they're paying for. They're paying for the best customer service. But that's just an example. So you have to know how to get the edge on your competition. You have to know who you want your customers to be, and you have to know what your market can actually hold. For example, if we were to go into a more rural part of Texas, then a $1,500 minimum probably wouldn't work there, just because that's not the level of income that people are seeing in that area. So you have to also be sure that your market can support who your target customer would be. And that all just requires research. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have already a good idea of who your competitors are in your market, what your market looks like, and where uh, the higher income areas are. And if you don't already, that's where I would recommend to start for sure. So you might be first time installers. So that's definitely somewhere I would recommend starting. Excuse me. If you are kind of just getting into the business, I would target higher income areas and figure out what your competitors are lacking in. So that's step number two. Step number three is understanding your company, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Because I guarantee you, if someone else is in your area and is aggressive enough to be researching this kind of stuff, they're going to research everything I just said about you, and they're going to find out your company's weaknesses and go after that. So you also have to know that so you can minimize your weaknesses, maximize your strengths, and you have to be able to show that to your customer. If you have the best products but aren't really marketing those best products to your customers and showing them why they're better than the competition, then how are they going to know? Why are they going to choose you over the other person? So you have to also figure out a way to show your strengths to your customers and to uh, understand your weaknesses so you can kind of minimize uh, that coming into play as you're trying to work your way up the food chain in your market. Um, and then step number four is deciding on a budget. So now that you understand your market, your key demographic, and your strengths and weaknesses, now it's time to set a budget uh, for your marketing. This is pretty simple to do if you have the right goals, right? So this all goes back to the very first step is what are your goals for the season? If you have a very specific revenue goal, then creating a marketing budget is also rather simple. Uh, People recommend 7.5% of your target of your projected yearly revenue should be your marketing spend. I like to say it's between 5 and 10% to give you some wiggle room, to give you kind of a range to play with in case you have, let's say, for example, you have a Facebook marketing campaign that's doing really well, but you've already met your 7.5% marketing budget, and you can't really throw more money at that marketing campaign that's working really well without cutting into expenses on another aspect of your business, whether it's products or labor or insurance or rent, whatever it is. But if you have not 7.5, but 5 to 10% of your budget to play with, then let's say you've already met your 7.5% and you have that Facebook marketing campaign that's uh, overperforming what your goals would be, and you want to throw more money at it to boost it because you're seeing results, so you want to see more results, then you have another 2.5% of your budget to spend on campaigns that are doing really well. So that's why I recommend doing a 5 to 10% range in your budget. Now, as you can see, that second point there, I guess, is that your budget will lower over time. At least your marketing spend will lower over time. Not necessarily your budget, because that's up to you. But for us, we do nearly $0 in marketing for our Christmas light installation. Now, we do, of course, do marketing for all the other aspects of our businesses, right? But not for Christmas lights, because we've already become such an established player in the market that we don't really need any marketing spend to continue to either sustain or grow our business. Um, so over time, you'll achieve that too. And we started in that same range, and then we started slowly over 18 years. This will be our 18th season. We started decreasing our marketing spend just because we saw that we didn't have to, right? So That's the other part. If you remember, step number 5 is reevaluating, readjusting every every step basically. So that's what we do every year is we go back and see what worked, what didn't work, what can we adjust, what should we adjust. And that's one of the things that we've adjusted over time is decreasing our marketing spend because we saw again that we really don't need to have that big a budget for that anymore. And then the third point there is to stay focused on your ROI, your returns. If you're spending 10% of your budget, which is kind of like the higher end, um, you want to make sure that you're actually seeing results from spending a bit more than the average on marketing. If you're not seeing results, then something needs to change. Some marketing campaign isn't going well, or maybe you're marketing to the wrong crowd, or your prices are too high. Something isn't working right, of course, if you're not seeing the returns that you're wanting. And to know what kind of returns you should be seeing, you need to have the right goals. So this all again goes back to step number 1 is setting the right goals. Uh, but that's something to keep in mind every step of the way is to stay focused on your returns and making sure that the investments that you're making are actually worth making those investments. Because if it's not, then you have to readjust and figure out what isn't working and how you can make it work or how you can change your strategy to cut losses and to actually see some returns that drive business. But great. So now you have your goals, you know your market, you know your strengths and weaknesses, and you have a budget. Now, what do you do? Now you have to decide what to do with that budget based on what you want to achieve. So this is where knowing the marketing tools that work best for your target demographic come into play. There are 3 buckets of marketing channels that I think are very important to mix. As you can see, they're traditional marketing, digital marketing, and experimental marketing. The traditional marketing works particularly well for the older generations, the people that like that personal touch and face-to-face interactions with the company that they're going to hire to provide a service for them. So this would involve, again, door-to-door sales, direct mail campaigns like postcards, flyers, door hangers, cold calls. If you can get a hold of a phone call list, then you can cold call. But really anything that feels very personal and shows that you're kind of catering the service to them. That's what a lot of the older generation and higher income individuals like. So there's kind of a mix there between higher income individuals and kind of older generations that really enjoy the feeling of a personalized customer experience as they're hiring you to provide a service for them. And that's just kind of what they expect. Someone's out there is going to provide that, and if you want them to be paying those high ticket price services, then you have to provide what they're expecting, which is top-notch customer service and at least a feeling of personalized designs for their house. Even though really you're really just doing the same thing for every house, a roof line, stakes, bushes, trees, it's all going to be the same. But the way that you can make them feel when you make the sale is kind of going to make all the difference. And that's all has to do with how you market yourself and how you market your brand. The second bucket is digital marketing. So this is kind of more tailored to the younger generation because it's all pretty much online, as the name implies. So that would be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, your website, SEO optimization for your website, paid leads, um, Google searches, um, anything really that has to do with digital would be included here. And again, that is particularly essential for the younger generation. And this bucket in particular, this digital marketing section in particular, is probably the most important one. And I would recommend spending at least 60 to 75, maybe 80% of your budget on digital marketing. One, because spending about 20% of your marketing budget on traditional marketing will go a long way because they're mainly printouts. And I'll show you here in a second, but I've already created dozens of ads that you can print out. All you have to do is put your logo, your colors, your phone number on there. It's really very minimal effort on your part. So the time uh, is minimized for you guys since you're partners, and printing them out is also uh, pretty cost effective. So just because it sounds like a low number for your marketing budget doesn't mean that you won't have a lot of uh, materials to play with for that traditional marketing. And then for the 60 to 80%, 75 to 80% uh, of the digital marketing, I say that because when you're marketing on Facebook, Facebook recommends that you spend between 50 to $200 a day. And that can be a lot of money, especially if you're just starting out. So, just to give you an insight, we don't typically go above $50 a day for marketing anything on Facebook. We typically stay at the high point around $50 a day. Um, and it works. Obviously, we'd see more results if we were spending $200 a day, but we prefer to keep our marketing budget flexible so we can, and flexible and free so we can spend it on other channels as well. But anyway, with all that said, I'd highly recommend keeping digital marketing as the biggest portion of your budget for your marketing. And then experimental marketing is stuff that you can spend a minimal amount of your budget on just so you can kind of see what works in your market. Here I have listed using AI to create some of your marketing materials, whether that be graphics or the copy, the text that goes out with your messages. Um, there's all kinds of AI marketing tools out there for free that you can use. So I just recommend experimenting with those. Sponsorships. What I mean by sponsorships is sponsoring a high school athletics department, which is an example of something that we did in the past. And depending on your area, it could be a couple $100, but your logo is going to be on all the flyers and brochures that they hand out throughout the season. So it's just getting your name out there. It could not result in anything. So that's why you have to keep an eye on your ROI, right? So if it didn't work for you the first year, maybe don't try it the second year and put that $600, those couple $100 on another experimental marketing campaign, or just put it into your digital or traditional campaigns. But you never know if you don't try. So if it did work out for you the first year sponsoring something, then maybe do it again the next year and see if that works out for you again. And then the third one I have there under experimental marketing is non-promotional. I put videos, but it really should be non-promotional marketing. And that is more dedicated to building your brand than to making sales. So part of the reason people come back to us is because they're familiar with certified lights. They know our color, blue and yellow. They know the name. They know the people. and they've known us for years. So building your brand is a crucial step in how you market your business and how you grow your business sustainably. And I think that's very important. That's a very important point that a lot of people kind of just skip over. If you're always just focused on making the sale, which is definitely something you should be focused on, uh, but if you're always just focused on that, then building your brand and building your brand image and your brand personality is sometimes just kind of gets thrown up to the side, and and it doesn't really get established over time. But that's something that's really important in your market. And if some of you guys are in a smaller market, this is particularly important because you have less competition. So any mistake that you make throughout the install season has to be corrected immediately, so it doesn't stay on your Google reviews or it doesn't stay on your Facebook reviews for a long time. And sometimes we found that um, if an installer makes a mistake and we go out there and fix it immediately, that'll leave a stronger impression on the customer than if we had just done the job correctly in the first place, because they see that we are dedicated to making uh, their house look good, and we're dedicated to making it look good the whole year round, the whole season, instead of just kind of doing the install and moving on to the next job. They see that we're paying attention. Um, and that's all part of building your brand image, and the way your customer perceives you. So that's non-promotional marketing. Other stuff you can do for non-promotional marketing is posting stuff on Facebook that doesn't have anything to do with your sales. And I have a folder I'll show you in Canva just for that. So it's posting stuff like Happy 4th of July, Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Diwali, whatever it is that your market uh, is that your market cares about, right? So it's really customizing your brand image to appeal to your target demographic, not only in price, but in other non-promotional ways as well. And then part of step number 4 is deciding on pulling the trigger, basically, after you've decided how to spend your how to allocate your budget on these 3 channels. So based on all the information you gathered on your market, yourself, your competitors, your demographic, your target demographic, now it's time to actually do the marketing, not just make the plan. It's actually time to do it. So you just learn how to use the tools that I'll show you here in a second, and whatever other tools that you think would work best in your market, and then you launch those campaigns. You find ways to track ROI for each campaign. A good way to do that I've found, that we found, is to create customized QR codes and customized referral links and customized links, trackable links for anything digital that goes out. So for example, if I post a Facebook marketing ad, I'm able to see how many people clicked on it, and not just how many people clicked on the ad. I'm able to see, because of how I've set it up, I'm able to see, or actually, let me use an email. An email might be a better example. When I send a mass email for marketing, I'll send a graphic out with a button. I'm able to see, because of how I set it up, how many people clicked on the graphic, how many people clicked on the button, how many people purchased something from those clicks, how many people just opened it and closed it, all that information. And all that information is crucial to know for you to be able to accurately track your returns on the investments that you're making in your marketing campaigns. But that's just one example. So you can create QR codes, and there are tons of free QR codes online, QR code generators online, that you can through which you can create trackable QR codes, so you can see all that information I just mentioned through that website. if you're sending out printed flyers or door hangers, anything like that, along with that QR code that's printed on the flyer, you can also put in a referral code. So if you have a link to your website, or if they're calling you, they can tell you that referral code. And if you can give them some kind of incentive, say if you mention this code, you get 5% off or something like that. Something minimal that won't impact your bottom line too much, but that'll give you accurate data on the results of your marketing campaigns. And then last but not least, let's see. And then, of course, last but not least is revalidating your strategies and adjusting them. If, like I mentioned earlier, if you see something that's working really well, you might want to put more money on it. Increase your daily budget for a Facebook campaign from 50 to 75 if it's working really well. If it's not working very well, maybe change it from 50 to 20 and use this $30 a day to target a different market or a different demographic, or put this $30 a day to use on flyers. $30 can print you a good number of flyers. So if you save $30 a day for a week, then you can use those $150 to print a bunch of flyers and a bunch of door hangers and use that while still having your Facebook running. That's another key point that a lot of people maybe miss is if you see a campaign that's not working right now, that doesn't mean that you have to just cut it completely. It is an indication that you might want to slow it down a little bit in case it continues to not work, but you don't know that it's going to stop, or you don't know that it's not going to work in the future in the coming weeks as the season gets closer. So you might want to slow it down by reducing the budget for that campaign, but it's not always the best idea to just completely scrap that campaign after you started running it, because you've already put so much effort into it. And there are ways to tweak the campaigns a little bit. If you see that they're not working, maybe choose a different area to target or add more target. On Facebook, they're called lookalike customers, lookalike portfolios or profiles. So there's always ways to tweak campaigns, even if it's not Facebook, to if you see that they're not really bringing the results that you want. But I wouldn't recommend just completely cutting it if it's not working, unless you've spent like $1,000, $2,000 on it, or even just something in that ballpark, and it has driven zero results. Then it might be time to cut it and stop spending that much money on that campaign and switch to another one. But that's about it. So it was very, very quick for those 5 steps. I'll go back to the 5 steps here. But because maybe about half, a little bit more than half of you probably have seen this, a similar version of this, I just went over it real high level. Again, if you do have any questions on any of these 5 steps, I can go back over it, over whatever you have questions about, over anything I said, just put it in the chat and I will answer those questions. But that's kind of the high level way of making a 5-step marketing plan that will help you drive results while keeping your budgeting spending down and making sure you're efficient and effective with your money. Great. So now on to the second part of this webinar is how to use the marketing tools that we have set up for you using our training portal, and in particular using Canva. So let me stop sharing here. Actually, I don't have to stop sharing. So I'll start off by showing you guys the training portal. If you guys are not already familiar with it, which I really, really hope you are, because all of you are partners, and I really hope you're familiar with this portal already. But if you're not, I'll show you again. So this is our website for certifiedlights.com. If you go over here, hover over partnership program, you'll see this drop down that says partner portal. Go ahead and click on it. And I'm already signed in. If you are not signed in, you would just get a screen that says sign in, and well, then you'd log in, and then you would see this screen. This is our current training portal for all of our partners. And here you can find training materials for all of these categories that you see here: safety, sales, training, marketing, warehouse, storage, hiring, insurance, vehicles, training, your staff, and then whatever else you might need, we can provide. But in particular, right now, because this is a marketing webinar, I'm going to focus on the marketing portal. Here, you'll see a bunch of videos, a bunch of processes that we've created for you. This one in particular is the Facebook one, so you'll get a step-by-step walkthrough on how to create Facebook ads for your install service. And while we're on the topic of Facebook, I'd like to kind of announce that we are going to be partnering with a Facebook marketing specialist, and he'll be taking on partners that come to him purely to market on Facebook for your market, for your region, for your area. We can of course help you, but because our company is growing and we have over 400 partners now, it's really hard for us to cater to each one of you guys when it comes to Facebook marketing, and so we're going to outsource that to him. He is very, very knowledgeable on the topic. That's basically all his company does is Facebook marketing for service industries, and in particular, Christmas lights, I think lawn and some other service. But he's very familiar with marketing Christmas light installation. Yeah, pressure washing and window cleaning on top of the Christmas lights. So he's very familiar with how to do that and how to set up campaigns that work specifically for your market and for who you want to target. So we'll get more info on that, but that's in the works right now. It's the announcement will be made. The official announcement will be made here shortly. But because there's a partner webinar, you guys are always the first to know about things, and especially if you join our webinars. So be on the lookout for that if you are wanting some one-on-one help with your Facebook marketing. Now, if you think that you can do it yourself, and I guarantee that all of you can do it yourselves, just come to our portal here and watch these videos. Some of them might be a little long, but because they're videos on YouTube or on there are YouTube videos, but they're posted on our portal, you can skip through them, you can pause them, you can come back to them later. So just use them as training tools, which is exactly what this is. It's a training portal for you guys to really maximize your business profitability. But anyway, after these videos, you have some more processes and just how to follow regulations that are set out for you guys on postcards and all that stuff. And then if you scroll down here to marketing materials, this is where you can find the templates that I'll walk you through right now, and that I was referring to earlier that I've already made for you. There's dozens of templates in there that you can just basically plug and play, as it were. Just put in your phone number, put in your logo, put in your email. If you want to put in QR codes, put in your QR code, and then just print it out or download it and then post it to Facebook. So I'll start, I'll just do a couple of them. They're all going to be basically the same thing as far as using the templates. So I'll just show you one, maybe two of them for how to use them. Let's see. So yard signs, I'll start there. why not? This one is fairly simple. Yard signs are, if you've seen them around your city, they're very minimal and they have to be attention grabbing, a phone number, and your service. Um, so let me see here. So on the portal, after you choose which uh, marketing material you want to focus on right now, you select it, of course, and then you'll see this screen where it kind of explains what it is. I also put together a tutorial for each one of these, so you can click there and watch the tutorial if you come back to it in a week or two and just want to recap of what we talked about here today. But if you're ready to go ahead and just start marketing, you select the second link there, and that's going to take you to this screen. Now, sometimes it doesn't take you to this screen if you are not signed in to your Canva account. For this website, canva.com, it is a free marketing tool that you can use to design anything really, videos, graphics, stills, websites, anything you can think of. And that's why we use it for you guys to have these templates on, because I think it's a great tool. I use it almost probably every day. But anyway, so create your account. It's free. You'll log in and then you click that link there that I showed you, and you'll see this screen. Now, this will be only editable for you. So when you're logged in, whatever changes you make won't affect anyone else. So you're free to make any changes that you would like to make. So if you get really good at using this tool and changing colors and changing fonts and all that stuff, feel free to customize it as you wish for your market, for your liking. Feel free to do that. But if I was one of you guys, this is all already done for me. So all I would have to do, click here, double click, and put in my phone number. That's it. I'm done. I'm ready to market. So let's say I allocated 1% of my budget on yard signs. I would go here. I'd choose 1, 2, depending on the market. I threw in some Diwali stuff in here too, because our market has a lot of Diwali lights during the season, or a lot of demand for Diwali lights in the season. So if your market does too, there you go. If your market celebrates another holiday in particular, again, feel free to go in here and change it for whatever your market demand is. And if you would like something created, send me an email and I can create that for you. But anyway, so I chose 1, maybe 2 here, and then I go to print it out. You have 2 options here. You can either download it and take it to your own print shop, and we actually we're working on some way to on a kind of a platform that you can print from directly. That's a bit cheaper than this, because obviously you can see your 1 yard sign is $36 through Canva, which is a bit expensive, and I wouldn't really recommend paying that much for a single yard sign. But if you were in a bind, you can print directly from this platform. As you can see, just select your design, select how many, continue here, and it'll take you to your shipping address and all that. But the other option is to select share and then download. And downloading, I would recommend just downloading PDF. PDF is, if you don't know what to do, go with PDF. That's kind of the rule of thumb. And then a very important point to note here is don't select all pages. Don't print out all pages, because then you're just going to download a bunch of templates, and you don't really want that. Select the pages that you want. For example, here, this is page 2. So I'm only going to select page 2. I'm going to hit done. Then I'm going to hit download. That's downloading. It's downloaded. Now, what I would do is I would go to a print shop, go to a local print shop, and after you've shopped around a little bit for pricing, you take this to them, say, hey, I want 50, 30, 20 yard signs printed out. with this design, you email them the PDF, they'll print it out for you, and then you have your yard signs ready with your design, your phone number ready to go. And that's very simple. That's kind of one of the easier ones to do here. I'll go to kind of the on the other hand, let's see, I'll do Facebook. So same thing, very similar thing here for Facebook. Um, Again, if you want to see a tutorial on how to do that, that's right there. That's what I'm walking you through. If you want a reminder, feel free to go back and click that tutorial link. But here you have two links. One is for Facebook ads and one is for Facebook posts. Facebook, Instagram, you can post both to both from Facebook. The posts is what I was referring to when I was talking about experimental, non-promotional marketing. This link has templates that say, again, Happy New Year's, Merry Christmas, 4th of July, all those things. Non-promotional marketing. So for that, you don't even need to plug in your phone number. You just print or you just download and post. For these, the ads, they're not even more, not super complex. Again, you just click on here, I'll show you. And this is typically the screen that you would see. So what you would do is, because I'm the owner of the template, I click edit template, but you guys would use edit template for new design. And that will allow you to customize all the templates to your liking without editing any of the other ones. If you try to do this one, it would send me an alert and it would ask me for approval before you're able to do that. So there's no risk really of anyone messing up the templates for everyone else. You just wouldn't have access to that. But I'm going to click there just because for the sake of demonstration. So yeah, here are probably about, let's see, you have 14 different templates here that you can use for ads on Facebook and Instagram. And as I create more for our other services, I'll adapt them to Christmas light installation, and I'll add them on here. So in a year, you're going to have probably double what you see here as we post more and as we create more for you guys. But I'll do the same thing. So I'll go through, I'll choose one, and you even have some videos here. Like I think this one, yeah, you even have some video ads. So Canva is a really great tool, a very diverse tool for marketing. And again, it's free. We pay for the premium version just because it has a few additional features, but it's really not necessary if you're just a single installer. But let's say I wanted to choose this one, for example. What I would do to customize this if it was for certified lights is I would change the phone number again, and I would probably put my logo on here because these are Facebook ads. I would put my logo on here because it's going to be in front of thousands of people, even if they don't click on it, even if they're not looking for Christmas light services. Facebook does a really good job of putting your ads in front of thousands of people. So they're going to see your brand. They're going to see your colors. And I might even go as far as changing the colors. Right now it's red and green, of course, for Christmas, but I might even go as far as changing the colors to our brand colors. And the way I did that is very simple. On Canva, you can pre-select, you can customize your brand. They call it, I think, a logo kit or a brand kit. And all that really is you have your logos and your colors ready to go. So it makes it easier to customize stuff. And that's all it is. To set that up, you create your account, you go to brand, and then you just upload your logos. Here you can see we have a couple different logos for our different services. And then we have different colors here that we can use for that are our brand colors. So you just select your brand colors and then select brand, and then you can change the colors for any template that you see. So I would even do that, and then again, I put my logo on here. I put my phone number, and that's about it. So this is ready to go out for Facebook. What I would do now is that again, I would hit share, I would hit download, and again, I don't want all 14 pages. I just want page 6. So I'm going to go select page 6. I'm going to hit done. And another thing to note here uh, for this template is because there are some videos on there, the file type is going to default to MP4. You don't really want that, and it's not necessary at all for still graphics like this one. So instead of MP4, again, PDF or JPEG is going to be the best way to go. And you're going to get this little alert because it's telling you that downloading a PDF or a JPEG won't work for videos, but I'm not trying to download a video. So that doesn't matter. And that's it. I hit download, and then under the graphics section in your Facebook campaign, you would just upload this into there. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through how to set up a marketing campaign on Facebook because you have a full dedicated how-to step-by-step video on the portal. Then I'll go back to here. So again, you select marketing, and that's the first thing you'll see is the our July webinar, I think last year or 2 years ago, probably last year actually, walks you through how to set that up. So I'm not going to go through that here, but in your campaign on Facebook, you would just upload the download that you made here from Canva, and that's it. So that's how to use the training portal, not only for marketing, but in particular for marketing. And that's how you can use Canva and all the templates I've created for you super easily to kickstart your marketing campaigns for the season. Let's see, and I believe that's about it. So that's all I have for you guys today as far as the deep dive goes, and that's all we really use for our marketing, for our service, for our services. We use other kinds of stuff for lead generation. As you guys are all familiar with, we have a Warriors for Lights that we partner with for our lead generation. And then we use other platforms that we've kind of experimented with throughout the years that have worked for us. One of them is Thumbtack that works for us for our landscape lighting. Now, we don't have a lot of experience in using that for our Christmas lights, again, because we don't spend a lot of marketing budget on us, a lot of marketing dollars on our Christmas light installation. But everything I've shown you here is what we have used in the past and what we currently use for any kind of marketing, both Christmas light and non-Christmas light services. So it will all work for you guys if you kind of follow the processes that we recommend and adapt it to your market. And now time for the QA. So feel free to go ahead and start asking questions if you haven't already. Ashley, if you have seen any questions, I think now is a good time to queue those up and we can start getting into those.
All right. So let me scroll up because I did see one. So Carrie asked, when is the best time to start your marketing campaign?
The best time to start a marketing campaign. So you really want to start, that depends on your budget. But I would recommend starting early September, somewhere around early September. If you want to start earlier than that, you can. There are a couple different strategies that you can use to deciding that. So I'll kind of lay those out for you instead of giving you a direct answer, because it could be different for every market, depending again on your budget, on your competitors and all that. But if you want to start early, a strategy that I would use is kind of a trickle effect for your campaigns. assuming again this is a majority digital uh, marketing. So I would start with a low budget early on, and as the season gets closer, as it gets to be early, mid, late September, I would start increasing um, that budget to kind of have a bigger effect on the audience that you're trying to reach. Now, the reason I would go with this strategy is because Facebook in particular takes about a week or two to really optimize their algorithm to put you in front of the people that you want to be put in front of. So the first week of your marketing campaign on Facebook is going to be Facebook really just trying to figure out what to do with the money that you're giving it, with the marketing materials that you're giving it. So I wouldn't recommend, like, if you want to start, if your hard deadline to start marketing is September 30th, I wouldn't start September 30th. I would start 2 weeks prior to that to let Facebook really figure out how to best market, uh, how to really show your marketing materials to the right kind of people. If you start on September 30th, your hard deadline, for example, then it's going to take about a week or two from that date to figure out how to best optimize and how to best use the budget that you set to maximize the results that you would see. So that's what I would recommend. I would recommend that trickle strategy, and then base the budget on uh, whatever your projected revenue is for the season. Hope that
All
answers that.
right. Another thing that I would even add on to that is if you already have current customers, you should be reaching out to them right now, right? Or customers that you didn't close last year, reach out to them and see if they have plans for the 2024 season. You've already paid for that lead. You might as well keep going until they say, leave me alone forever. All right. So, okay. So Brian asked a question and I think Scott already answered that one. So Brian, let me know if we need a deep dive into your question. It was about yard signs and logos and stuff. And
Okay,
then Mateo, obviously, let me know if you want me to answer any of these. Patricio
sure.
asked, what company would we recommend or do we use for EDDM?
Do you want to take that one?
I definitely can. So a lot of people think that you have to hire somebody to do EDDM. No, you don't. It is so easy. It is so, so easy. All you have to do is make sure you're buying the right postcards, right? You've got the designs. We have those uploaded in your portal. Um, get them printed from a place like You Printing. Just make sure that they are the right size and EDDM compliant. That's a big thing to make sure they put the mailing address in the right places. But we have literally a step-by-step process on how to do this. It is so easy. Please, please, please do not hire somebody to do something that you can easily do. If you're sending out, tons and tons and tons, then maybe it makes sense to hire somebody, but we were doing that and sending them weekly to 3 different areas. Oops, sorry about that. 3 different areas without any issues. So that would be my recommendation. If you are going that route, make sure you are setting up a business account. That way you can save, and I know it's not much, but I think you can save about an extra penny or so on your postage, which it does add up when you're sending that many. And the other thing is you can go and take all of those and drop them off at one post office instead of having to go into each different zip code. Like in Dallas, we've got like a gajillion zip codes, right? You can go drop them off at one post office instead of having to go to each one. Okay, there we go. Kenneth asks, is today the last day to receive 20% off on orders? Yes, it is, right? But if you guys are interested in a PAT program, right, product advancement, you can still get in on that. All you have to do is say, hey, let me know. I want it. I want in something, whatever, and I will reach out to you. It's okay if it extends past today, as long as we're communicating starting today. Okay, I can help you guys with those orders. Greg asked, could you give your input on the pros and cons of either adding Christmas lights to an existing season business versus establishing a new business entity and how it may relate to the marketing effectiveness. For example, Greg does pressure washing during 9 months. Does he need a separate name, website, phone number, etc.?
That's a great question. I would recommend keeping it all under the same name because you've already established that brand uh awareness for your, you said pressure washing, for your pressure washing. You already have, I assume, a good number of clients for for your pressure washing. So instead of changing the entire company and name and branding and logo and all that, um, so just do kind of something similar that we did. We changed it to certified uh, Christmas lights. We were a pest control company, so we were certified pest control. And then instead of completely changing our brand and our logo and everything, we just did certified Christmas lights because that is still kind of rings a bell in people's name in people's ears. When they hear certified, they're familiar with us. They're familiar with you. They've already gained your trust, or I'm sorry, you've already gained their trust, and they're willing to give you their business. So it's just a much easier way, in particular to marketing. It's a much easier way to market to existing customers and to have a pool of people that already know who you are and know your services and know the quality of work that you do. Whereas if you are starting a new entity in terms of the name and the branding and the logos and all that, then it's kind of having to start from scratch when you've already established and built a brand. So that's what I would recommend. If you can, for example, if it's Greg pressure washing, change it to Greg Christmas lights, but keep it on the same website. Just add another. Actually, here I can show you. I think I'm still sharing my screen. So um, this is our install page, our install website. As you can see here, we have holiday lighting, landscape lighting, permanent lighting, event lighting, all under the same website. We don't change it because people already come here for this. So let's say someone hired us to do their wedding. They, while they were in the search for our wedding lighting service, they also saw that we do permanent lighting. They also saw that we do landscape, and they also saw that we did holiday lighting. So if they like our business for our event lighting, they'll keep us in mind. When Christmas comes around, they'll give us a call. And you can say, uh, if you can have something on the website that says have used another one of our services, call us for using another service and we'll give you 5% off or something like that. So it's just easier to cross brand or to cross market your existing brand than to start with a new one.
All right. Scott asks, what is the best marketing for a new company with a low budget?
Um, I would keep it. I would stick to what I've said. So uh, I would keep it to between mainly digital, 60 to 75, 60 to 80% digital, and then the rest on traditional. Uh, on the traditional budget, I would focus on high traffic areas. So printing out those yard signs, doing the door to door sales. A good tactic that's very cost effective is to keep about 50 flyers, 100 flyers in your truck, in your installers' trucks. And when they go out to install, if you're running two-man teams, have one person start on the install and have the other person take the first 5 minutes of the install time to put flyers around the property where you're already installing so the neighbors can see the work that you're doing and have your contact info ready to go. Um, but I would stick to that. It's all kind of percentages. That's why I didn't say a particularly hard dollar number. Um, Percentages are great because they're customizable and they're scalable. So if you're just starting out and you have a low budget, I might put a little bit more into traditional marketing because digital is might just take longer to drive results. But I would stick to that uh, between 60 to 40 or 80 to 20 range uh, for digital and traditional. And then again, focus on yard signs um, and then stuff that'll get you in front of people like high traffic areas like yard signs or Facebook.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Yard signs continue to be one of the most popular, if not the most popular, traditional I call it affordable marketing because the yard signs tend to be a little bit cheaper, right? And if you are a brand new company starting out, you have to be super mindful. That's also why the PAP is really important, right? Products versus marketing. So, sorry, not to try and sell, a cheap sale on that, but the affordable marketing is more time consuming for you, but it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off a lot better. So definitely, I would highly, highly recommend the yard signs. But be mindful of where you're placing them, right? If you're placing them in the middle of a park, it's not going to work. I usually recommend near a Chick-fil-A, right? Or if you got like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's, those really, really high traffic areas that are going to generally be in more, I don't want to say more affluent neighborhoods, right? But something similar, right? I wouldn't put it at the entrance of a Walmart. Yes, it's high traffic, but the dollar amount's going to be a little bit different. Okay, let's see here. Joel said if you haven't signed up for the PAP, he highly advises it. Thank you, Joel. Let's hear. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions. So if you guys have other questions, we are here to answer them for you. So marketing or anything related, drop it in there. We're happy to help.
Yeah, I'll stick around for the next few minutes. See, pretty much everyone that joined is still here, which is great to see. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be hosting another webinar shortly, and when we have a date set for that, we'll of course announce that to everyone. Take a look at your emails. Today is the last day for that July Christmas and July sale, so if you want to take advantage of that 20% off, go to your website today and use that promo code. If you do have any more questions, again, I'll stick around for another few minutes, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
I will keep an eye on the chat.
Oh, I see a couple questions in the Q&A. Um,
Oh,
can we talk about Shopify process and requirements?
oh, that's something else.
Okay.
So how many current
Yeah.
partners are using your marketing agency that's taking over? So let me speak a little bit more on that so you guys are a little bit more in tune with who that is. So um, we're not a marketing company. We're not set up to be specifically for service companies like you guys. Yes, we market for our own business, but that's not something that, like Mateo said earlier, not really something that we're going to have time for. And last thing we want to do is say, hey, we're going to do this and then not support you through it. So this is why we've partnered. It's a soft partnership is the way I'm looking at it because I've never worked with this person before. He did come highly recommended based on he already does Christmas light Facebook advertising for a handful of companies. He's got it listed on his website and all that fun stuff. But there was probably 4 or 5 actual partners that have used him and said one of them was like, if you could partner with him, you should, right? Now, please remember, like, he is not a certified lights employee. I can't make him do anything, right? So any communication about your Facebook ad spend is going to be directly with him and not with us. And he doesn't take on everybody, right? He's very particular because he wants to make sure that he does a great job and doesn't end with a whole bunch of upset people. Pricing wise, you'll have to work that out with him. I'm pretty sure it's like a flat rate plus ad spend for the per month or season or something along those lines. But he did come highly recommended. So that would be my 2 cents. He said on average, if he has 10 requests, he may take on 7, right? So again, I can't force him to take you guys on, but if you are interested, just email me and I will pass along his contact info. I don't want to drop it in here and then you guys not be interested and just have all of it here, right? So just a little bit of information on that. We're hoping it works out that way. He can become more of like an affiliate partner that we work with, like Logan with Talent Compass or James with Warriors. The other thing is, if you haven't signed up with Warriors, highly recommend it. Um, I can drop that in the chat for you guys as well. All right. There's the Legion with Warriors if you haven't signed up with him. Promo code, Stephen, is Christmas in July. You can use it. Or if you're doing the PAP program, that has to be worked directly through yours truly. You and I will have to work on it. So if you want to do the PAP process, let me know and I will reach out to you directly. If you haven't signed up for the PAP, you really, really should. No payments until the first week of November. It's almost crazy. Almost too good to be true.
Yeah, you really shouldn't, Jose. You can email us and we'll get you in touch with them for the Facebook. And then for Warriors, I think you can just email us and we can get you signed up for that as well. We'll
No,
put
so
you in
I dropped that
touch.
link in
All right.
there. If you guys go in
Oh,
there, you
you
can
did?
actually,
Oh, I didn't see.
yeah,
Oh,
you
okay.
can sign up everything through there and he'll reach out to
Okay.
you directly.
Great. Yeah, Stephen, if you're interested, I highly recommend it. Reach out to us and we can get you started on that path.
Brian, curious for those that offered a Christmas in July booking special, what is your discount strategy going into August? We did not offer one of those. We almost did. Me and Mateo talked about doing it, and then we were like, maybe we don't want to do that. We want to do that with Certified Lights. We don't want to do that with CLP.
Right.
So from I will say what I've seen is a lot of people offering, hey, Christmas in July, you can take the lowest that I've seen is probably like 5%. The sweet spot that I've seen in like the Facebook groups, obviously take those with a grain of salt, right? Is usually about 10 to 15% to get them on the books. Hey, schedule now, save 15%. If you do that, you can increase your prices just a little, as long as not, a current customer, increase your prices a little bit if you're running those ads. That way you're offsetting some of that discount. So if you're, charging, $8 a foot, maybe do $8.50 to help offset some of that. Obviously, don't price yourself so far out of the market where it doesn't make sense.
And I do want to say Brian, that's a great question for our partner Facebook page. That page has been growing quite a bit as we roll it out more and remind people that it exists. And we're trying to be more and more active on there and encourage partners to be more and more active on there, particularly and specifically for questions like that. So there are questions, there are things that we suggest that maybe we just don't do, like these Christmas in July. So we don't do that for our install, just because we have a customer base that's already very loyal to us, and we're kind of very stable in that installation business. But there are hundreds of other installers that are in your same situation, and they're doing those ads. They have results, and they have real time data that they can share with you. So I highly recommend going on that site. Ashley, could you get that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ashley's getting that for you, um, so you can join it. And those are the exact kind of questions that you can ask on there, and I'm sure you'll get some answers on there as well. And then we also post polls and stuff on there to see what times work best for you for webinars and things like that. So we're really trying to focus on that to build the community of partners, so you guys can also talk to each other. Do you guys offer any discounts
Absolutely.
for early installs? We do. Yeah, we do offer. We more offer an upcharge for late installs rather than a discount for early installs. If we install past November, I think if it's past Thanksgiving, then we increase the price. I think it's by like
All of
20% or
November.
something.
all of
All of
November.
November.
So on the proposal, it'll say 1,500,
Right.
right? In the terms and conditions, it'll say if this is based off of an early or a late install. Early is considered September, October. Late install is considered December. If you would like this service in November, the price will be 20% higher than the rate listed above.
Hmm.
And most
So we do
customers
kind
like,
of the
oh,
opposite.
well, yeah, yeah. To me, it seems just it's a little bit easier that way. I'd rather go in with a lower price and be able to explain, oh, well, it makes sense to do it this way, right? Because most
Hmm.
people, they say, oh, well, I want November, and I tell them, okay, well, it's going to be 20% more. They say, never mind. And then we schedule in October.
Our jobs are easier.
I offer customers a small discount if they install before October 31st. What do you guys offer to existing customers? Nothing. That process when we sold them last year is the same process, the same number and everything for the next year, for 3 years, whatever it is. We don't generally have an issue with booking up our October schedule. If anything, I'm trying to probably lighten some of it up because there's quite a few there. So I'm not going to discount uh, my current customers. They already trust us. They've already experienced service. Uh, Generally, they're wanting to get in they want to get their deposits in early. That way they can secure their spot on the schedule. We actually just sent out invoices 2 days ago. So it's nice to start getting that money in already.
Right.
That's the
Any
questions.
other questions? And of course, you can always just email us if you do think of something after the fact. Are you
Are you telling early bookers a week on the schedule or just the month? Previously, we've said, hey, you're going to be scheduled within 7 days of your install last year. Or we'll say, hey, you're scheduled the week of this. We're going away from that because we'll have customers say, oh, well, that doesn't work for me, or which they don't have to be home. Like they're not storing anything. All that does is disrupt our schedule. And for us to be able to get to everything, we have to be the ones that dictate that. So we're really pushing back this year and saying, well, this is the date that we have available. If you would like another date, we have December 4th available, right? We're pushing those services into December. But the biggest thing is we just have to tell them, hey, you do not have to be home. There's no reason. We're not doing the backyard. We're not getting inside. It's literally just the outside putting Christmas lights. So now in November, especially late November around Thanksgiving, people tend to get a little antsy, especially if your schedule's running behind. So I would communicate a little bit more than usual in November to those customers, since most customers do want to get scheduled before Thanksgiving. If that's still the plan, make sure that they know. And if you tell them, hey, you're scheduled before Thanksgiving, make sure you commit to that. But we don't generally give them any dates or anything like that. Like, hey, you're scheduled in October. Hey, you're scheduled in November before Thanksgiving. And if they're not scheduled before Thanksgiving, we'll let them know that it'll be after Thanksgiving.
all right? I think I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I'm going to stop the recording and then